The US's top military official in the Pacific is warning that China's frequent military activity around Taiwan is making it difficult to understand how Beijing could prepare for an attack on the island. Our reporter Jaime Ocon has been following the story and joins us from our newsroom. Jaime, what is the US saying?
Well, the top U.S. commander of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral Samuel Paparo, made some pretty big warnings about China's military activity around Taiwan at a forum in Hawaii. He basically said that in a keynote speech, he said that China's extensive military drills could be used as a fig leaf or cover to conceal an actual attack on Taiwan. He added on to say that in recent years, the extensive buildup of China's military and frequent activity around Taiwan is making it more difficult to differentiate between what is an actual large-scale military drill and what could be preparations for an attack. Here is part of his speech at the Honolulu Defense Forum.
The People's Republic of China has embarked on a dangerous course and are on a dangerous course. Their aggressive maneuver around Taiwan right now are not exercises, as they call them. They are rehearsals. They are rehearsals for the forced unification of Taiwan to the mainland. Beijing's military buildup, their gray zone operations, their military coercion against Taiwan grow more concerning every day.
We reached out to Taiwan's defense ministry in the morning for a comment, but they have yet to respond. But Taiwan's military did say something similar back in December of 2024 when China launched what many people thought was the third large-scale exercise of 2024. Back then, Beijing deployed its largest naval fleet in over 3 decades, sparking some concern because Beijing didn't announce that it would be doing this kind of activity. So now the United States and Taiwan seem to be on the same page in agreeing that it is getting much more difficult to kind of figure out what China's military is up to.
And in your talks with the military, is Taiwan doing anything to respond to these threats?
Yeah, well, right now, Taiwan's defense ministry is actually going in the process of making some pretty radical changes to its largest annual drill known as the Hangguang exercises. So for 5 days, Taiwan simulates how it would respond to an all-out attack from China. So the entire country and the military mobilize and they test various parts of Taiwan's overall strategy. But sources within the military are now telling me that Taiwan is looking to double the duration of that exercise and extend it now to 10 days. But some observers in the United States are concerned about how realistic and how scripted these exercises could still be. Earlier, I spoke to Mike Hunziker. He's an associate professor at George Mason University, and I started with asking him, how big of a change will this extension in duration be?
My sense is that on the margins, it is a good change. More is better when it comes to training. I think there are some downsides. But to take a quick step back, one of my biggest concerns is, simply put, the new administration in Washington is calling for a radical increase in investment in Taiwan's defense. In essence, saying we want you to double the amount of money you're spending on defense. And Taiwan's MND is saying, hold that thought. Maybe we'll double the number of training days for one exercise. And that's going to be a real problem in the signal that it sends about Taiwan and the MND's seriousness. But to the practical question of whether this is good or bad, the fact is more training is probably better. But if some fundamental changes haven't been made in command and control practices, in organizational culture, and in small unit training, then really what you're doing is doubling the amount of time that you're rehearsing bad habits and reinforcing those bad habits. And so in that respect, more actually might be a bit of a detriment.
Other than extending the duration of the exercises, what else would you want to see from these drills?
Whether Hangguang would remain as a 5-day exercise or a 10-day exercise, what I would like to see is not so much change in that particular evolution, but rather a lot more emphasis on small unit training and making sure the small unit training is not highly scripted, that leaders in the small unit training that maybe the media is not paying attention to really do have the freedom to make mistakes, because if you're not making mistakes, you're not practicing for realistic warfare. All that said, the one thing I would like to see certainly in any of these exercises is a genuine commitment to not being scripted. What I think we're probably going to see is a very scripted version of unscripted training, where units know in advance what the unscripted piece of it's going to be. They're going to really rehearse because nobody wants to be that unit or that commander that makes a mistake while the media is watching.
The official date for this year's Hangguang exercises is yet to be public, but these drills usually happen at the end of July. So still plenty of time to see if there's any other reforms or plans that start to take shape as Taiwan continues to fine-tune its defense strategy against this increasing threat from China.